Alright,
Yeah.
can we start?
As long as they're all on, alright?
Yeah. I mean, you did it,
Yeah,
no?
whatever. I'll blame mine.
Okay. What, are you making a call?
Oh yeah.
Oh, boy.
Mine.
He's coming out like it. Come on.
Oh
On
boy.
the flight, tell him delay.
Yeah,
Alright, let's go.
Okay, go.
You ready?
Yeah.
oh
Okay.
boy.
Peter, you're good?
Showtime.
Peter, you good? Peter?
My phone's not charging. There you go.
Is it?
Uh-oh.
Gotta make those calls later.
Okay. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Serie audio experience with IFTV. It took some time, but we finally got everybody together, and we're ready to film the podcast. While we were waiting for Antonio, we filmed a nice little clip of my dad doing a tactical session because we got so many comments over these past few weeks and months to do one, so you finally did one. It's either going to be in the middle of this video or it's going to be a separate video that we release. And I think, Antonio, I would advise that you watch it so you can understand a little bit more on the tactics.
What are you talking about? I taught your father what to say and what to do.
Well,
Now you're
Gattuso-
telling me that I haven't
Gattuso's-
watched it before.
Gattuso's
Hey, by the way,
just,
since you brought it up, guys, this is the only podcast, listen to me carefully. This is the only podcast where you can listen about soccer, you can learn about soccer, you can be critical about soccer, and you can just say whatever you want about us and about how we do it. Okay? So, number one, this is the main issue. Number two, you are the one that counts over here. All of us, we are the support. We are your voice. Right, Marco? And number three,
You say so.
and number three, we like you to comment on Gaetano's technical corner over here. Because, you know, many things that you see on the TV, you're not going to be able to understand unless you know the technical aspect of the game. Whether it's going to be the 4-4-2, the 4-3-1-2, or 4-2-3-1. This is what we are here all about, it, to explain to you. You're not going to find this on ESPN. You're not going to find this on Fox. You're not going to find this on any channel, not
How
even
do
on
you know?
International. Because I know. We are the competition to all of those networks. We are number one. We're going to be number one
Now we're gonna
soon.
get sued.
All right.
Very good way to start this. I
That's
like the energy and I like the intensity.
Go for
Antonio.
Antonio.
Okay.
But anyway, we had a lot of Serie A games this weekend. I don't know where we want to start. A lot of surprises and a lot of gaps that are starting to increase, both in the top and in the bottom. I'm talking a little bit about you. I'm talking a little bit about everybody. So where we want to start? What game we want to start with, guys?
Start from Saturday. The game's on Saturday.
Okay. Empoli, Juventus.
God,
went
let's
straight
do
to
we
the-
have to talk about this? This is
lot
a
of
disgrace
controversy.
what happened on that game. What a disgrace. Let me just say, okay? And then you can say whatever you
We're
want.
jumping right to it.
I think that penalty was not a penalty. No, absolutely not. Okay, number one. Number two, I like to know what the hell is going on with this Allegri. This guy here needs to be on Prozac or some sort of a medication. The guy is like a 5 years old. He just kicks everything. He's running out of the field. What is going on? This is the manager of Juventus. He's one of the top managers of Serie A. He doesn't even
intense.
shake hands of the coach that the losing coach on the
He
field.
did?
How do you know?
He left before the end of the game.
Oh, come on.
Doesn't mean that he doesn't go shake his hand.
But hey, listen, you're supposed to wait over there until the end of the game and just be a polite person and just go shake hands. If you
Are we going to talk about the football or we're going to talk about people
we
shaking
gotta
hands?
talk about leadership. This is about leadership. If you're starting from the
Well-
top, you're not showing leadership skills. It translates all the way to
Well,
the
let me
bottom.
tell you.
Okay,
Let
don't
me just
defend him.
comment.
Okay, don't defend him.
Let me just comment on the game because the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. The first half they didn't play good, so he's feeling the pressure. You are at Juventus. You're not allowed to lose at Juventus. You're allowed. You have to win every game. So every game that you play, you have more pressure. And I think that for him, it's probably easier to play against Manchester United than to play with Empoli. Because with Empoli, the players, they don't prepare the same way. Mentally, you think that the game is easy and you're going to go into the field and you don't have the energy that you have when you play against a good team. So those are the games that he's more afraid of than if he plays a big team. I mean, I have heard his comments, before the game and after the game, and I have been with him and we have talked about. He thinks that this is the most difficult season and the most difficult since he's been there because the expectation. You got Ronaldo. You have the expectation to win every game. I mean, at the end, he did say, hey, we played 13 games. We haven't lost a game yet. But he got so upset that at the end of the game, the last foul that they kicked, he walked away.
Yeah.
He didn't even see the last one. He goes, well, the game was over. They either tied the game, but, so this is the way it is when you play.
He didn't walk away. He ran away
when
on,
you
on,
coach
on the
with
disgrace.
with Juventus.
So, for those who don't know, Empoli started the lead. They scored 1-0. Ciccio Caputo, who's a Serie B legend. He scored so many goals in Serie B. Finally in Serie A, he scored his first Serie A goal with body, by the way. He scored once before on one appearance. But now in Serie A, he's been scoring a lot.
That was a nice goal. Come on.
It was a beautiful
Let's
goal.
talk about it for a second.
It was a beautiful goal. And like you said, Juventus struggled big time in the beginning of the match, in the first half. And when you have all these players, there is a lot of pressure. In the second half, luckily, they were able to, come back and be able to win, even if it's 2-1 against Empoli. We saw them even the week before this against Genoa, where they weren't able to get away from the tie. So these matches, in Empoli, they're prepared for weeks for this match against Juventus. And of course, they try hard, and their players did very well, I thought, for Empoli. And, maybe there's that effect of, Ronaldo, where, he's been criticized for scoring, tapping goals. And he showed that he's starting to adapt to the league more and more. And he scored a beautiful goal, and it proved to be that difference maker even more. Juventus, last year when we were talking, we say, Juventus are able to, at the end, always be able to win that. And now, even with Ronaldo, when they would be able to tie it, I think that they have that extra push to be able to win the matches. And I think that it's going to prove at the end of the day that it's going to be tough. But, this also goes back to the Serie A being a tough league. Juventus in the Champions League is dominating, doing really well. But even in Empoli can cause you problems. And it reminds you that you need to stay humble, as good as your players are. Mike, what do you think about the game?
I thought it was good. Like you said, it was so close. I mean, that penalty, I want to talk about it for a little bit. A lot of people, we got a lot of criticism about it, why we didn't post it or why we didn't talk too much about it.
We're talking about it now.
Dybala initiated the contact. Whether you say it's a penalty or not, I think it could be seen as 50-50. If he didn't call out, been like, okay, it could have been a penalty.
What do
he
you
called
say?
it.
Penalty or no penalty?
I don't know. I mean, there was contact. He went for it.
But you got to make a decision.
Yeah,
What
I
do
know.
you say?
When you say you don't know, it's not a penalty.
What do you say?
I don't know. I just really
For the whole situation.
When there is a doubt, there is no penalty.
The penalty, the first thing we send messages, right?
In
We
our
were the
WhatsApp.
first thing in the WhatsApp group was that, come on, another penalty.
Another. It's the first penalty this season for Juventus. It's the first penalty.
So
What do you
what?
mean another?
So what?
It's the
What do you-
first
so
one
what?
that they need. But the point is, listen, you have to look at it the right way.
There was contact.
The fact is, I think Dybala initiated the contact.
He did.
Jumps in from the side, sticks his leg, and then the player goes and hits him.
Mm-hmm.
It was the slightest of touches. It was Dybala who initiates the contact. Everything that it looked like, if you see from the whole how the play starts out, it should have been a foul, if anything, for
Against Juventus.
Dybala, Empoli's ball.
To be honest, I did think that at first. I thought that he was calling a foul against Dybala because, like you said, Dybala puts his legs in front.
It looks
Yeah.
like Dybala was looking
of
to get
Benacer.
fouled. He was looking for the
Obstruction.
foul.
Yes.
It's obstruction. That's what I think.
That's
But-
where
to me,
it's great.
He baited the player.
No, he did.
Yeah,
100%.
he definitely baited the
100%.
player. He was able to jump in front, but it wasn't like he jumped in front and had possession of the ball. He's jumping in to get the ball. Then as he's going to get the ball, he gets a little contact. But the way that he starts in, he purposely
I
sticks
know,
his leg, gets
I've seen
through
it 10 times.
and gets the foul. I mean, from there, we would discuss how VAR works. Referee makes a decision. The contact is made. They accept the decision. And that's the end.
They
What do you think
accept
about the
who?
penalty?
Who accept
What do you think
what?
about the penalty?
I don't think it was a penalty.
And
But-
you don't think it was a penalty?
Wait a moment. But Peter, when you say they accept, who accepted the decision? The VAR didn't make any decision.
No, VAR doesn't make the decision.
But
They-
this is the
they-
problem.
they
Why is
accept
the
decision of
ref
the
making
referee.
that decision?
Because
Why
the
is
referee has the last word.
last
that is
word,
what's
yeah.
the problem? We keep saying the same thing over here. The referee should be the last person to make that decision.
Let's go around. My perspective, I agree with you guys. I agree that Dybala definitely initiates. He looks to, I think that maybe he didn't look to get a foul. He was looking to try to win the ball. And there was contact from the back. And to me, as light as it might be, as unfortunate as it might be, and as much as Dybala might initiate, to me it is a penalty. And, if we go through what the newspaper said too, that, they claim to be experts, Corriere, Gazzetta, Tutto Sport, they all say penalty. I'm just saying.
On paper-
that's what I say.
on-
I know we got 2 no's.
Yeah.
What do you say? You didn't say anything yet.
No, I don't think it was a penalty.
Oh,
On
thank
paper,
God.
4 no. Wait, did
On-
you add?
on
No.
paper it seems like a penalty, but in real time, if you look, I just feel like there's
No
so
penalty.
many.
So what do you say? Penalty or no penalty?
I'm stuck in the
So
middle.
50%, I listened to a lot of the comments. 50% of the comments, and these are all experts, said that it was a penalty, and 50% say it was no penalty. That's the problem that I have. It's either a penalty or no penalty. Why? So if you have experts that can even decide if it's a penalty or not.
Then don't give it.
It's got to be black or white.
white.
Some things aren't as clear though.
Make a rule and make the rule very
Yeah.
clear. What's a penalty? What's not a penalty? Because you leave it to the interpretation of the referee. The referee, he thought it was a penalty. He didn't think there was a necessity to go see the VAR because he was right there. He saw it, and maybe at the distance that he was, for him it was a penalty. Anyway,
back-
but
It could've
going
went
back,
both
you
ways.
know, you guys criticize.
It could have went
Juventus
both ways.
does not need any penalty to win the games. Okay, just for the record.
What do you mean?
It's a
They
seven-
could have said,
it's a
they
seven-
could have gone to the ref and
it's
said, hey, by the way,
7
this
years.
is not a penalty.
Guy was late.
We don't want to win like
7
this.
years.
Just don't
It's
give it to
number
us.
7, it will be number 8. They don't need penalty. The team is so good
But that's
that
the
they don't
point.
need
They
any
don't need the
penalty.
penalty.
They don't
Right.
need the penalties.
But if you-
it just happens that they got the
Peter,
penalty. The point
if
is,
he
no, no,
didn't give him the penalty, they would have find a way to win the game.
Well, you
that's the
never
way.
know.
That's the way you
Against
win.
Genoa,
And
we-
you saw the
what happened?
leadership. You saw the leadership of Ronaldo in that game. How he really,
No, without doubt.
wanted to really win this game.
But what happens is the other team loses its confidence because they scored with what 60th minute, some 63rd
It broke the
minute.
deadlock at that
So
point. Yeah.
once it's 1-1, now automatically Juventus has the upper hand because
That's
Empoli lost everything. Empoli
Yeah.
up until then was playing
Excellent.
really
Listen.
well. Then they lost, but the thing is, you cannot
confident.
can't
It's all
assume-
confident.
Yeah.
You can't
You
jump
can't
on.
assume-
You're
Yeah.
a player. You play the
Yeah.
game, okay? When whatever happens on the field, there's
No,
always
you have
been
to accept it.
mistakes.
You have to
Yeah,
accept
of
it.
course.
There's always been mistakes that happen.
Yeah.
It's up to you that when the mistake happens and it goes against
You
you,
react.
you
Yeah.
react, and that should give you more strength to do
Yeah.
better. If you stop and think about the penalty, then
No,
to
no.
me you're not a
But
professional.
Juventus also in the beginning, I think Allegri was upset. The first half, they had some chances. They were missing their chances.
Right.
They were, it wasn't like Empoli played a great game, but Juventus was in it. Empoli scored a goal. I was really impressed by Di Lorenzo, right back from Empoli. Was a really good player, consistently up and down the wing. Ziyech also was impressive. They gave Juventus some trouble. Going back to what Gaetano was saying, as far as it's easier to prepare for Manchester United than it is to prepare for Empoli, and vice versa. Empoli preparing for Juventus, that's the biggest game that they're gonna play. So they give their all. And then it just proved that Juventus is a stronger side. Eventually, I think they would have tied the game. I'm just not saying. I'm just not sure they would have won the game. That
wouldn't
could have
be
been a
enough
different
time.
thing.
That's
But
up
the
in
point
the air.
is,
That's up in
the
the
point
air.
is, you give a little space to Ronaldo, he's gonna
Exactly.
score.
Yeah.
And we saw the second goal was a beauty.
At the end of the day, the
What a
most
great-
important thing to accept is that, look, newspapers say one thing, you said 50% say this thing, nobody at this table can agree. So it could have gone either way, right? We agree on that.
Yeah.
But the thing that you need to see is that it goes every single way.
No, of course.
There are teams in
No,
this
no,
league
100%.
that they get one call that went their way, they will get one call that doesn't go their way. It happens with every team in every league
that's
all
every-
around the world.
Wait, I just want to
everywhere.
throw something.
So, no,
I
no,
just
no,
want-
no,
Wait,
no, no,
wait.
no, no.
One thing
No,
I gotta
no,
say
no,
to
no,
you:
before
don't
you
put
say
the
this.
newspaper on
What?
this
Why
equation
not?
over here because the newspaper they're partisan. Tutto
That's not
sport, tutto sport, it's geared toward
And you
Juventus.
think Corriere and Gazzetta are
well,
not against
look
Juventus?
at the journalists.
Yeah, look at them.
Look at the journalists.
Look, do you
Okay.
know who the journalists are
So-
for Corriere?
The only unbiased outlet over here is us.
That's
Okay?
not true.
We
That's
say
not true.
I don't know about you.
I am unbiased.
No, I'll explain right now why you're biased. Because
Why?
you said, why doesn't Dybala say something? That's what you said.
Well, Dybala is supposed to be this
Okay.
professional.
I know.
I happen to like Dybala.
Nobody saying
I
anything.
happen to like
Guys,
Dybala.
hold on. But when Cutrone came and he scored the goal with his hand, you said that it's fine because it happened during the game.
That's
so
true.
there's one and there's one. It needs to be true. I'm
I
okay.
thought you forgot
Listen,
about
listen,
that.
I agree with you that if somebody cheats, it's not good, right? But you can't say that Cutrone it's okay and Dybala it's not.
Yes, first of all, you're talking apple with
It's
oranges.
not. It's not. It's completely the same
No, it's
thing.
not. It's not.
completely the same
We're talking
thing.
a penalty here.
You're right. Actually, it's not the same thing because Dybala's was much less obvious of anything, if there was something, than
That's
CUTRONE.
true, that makes more sense.
But it's besides the point. I say we move on, but I'm just stating the
You
facts.
cannot win against City Hall. City Hall wins all the time. So
I'm just saying how it
Whatever.
is. Anyway, let's move on. Everybody can have their opinion, guys. In the comment section below, you say if it was a penalty, if it's not a penalty. Even we met some people this weekend when we were at Jimmy Conrad's event. A lot of people said hi to everybody over here, and we also had that same thing. It was the day of the game, the night after the game. Guys, was it a penalty? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Then this guy, no, it wasn't. No. So at the end of the day, it's always going to be up in the air, whether you're biased or whether you're not biased. Let's move on. Next match in chronological order. AC Milan against Sampdoria. A match that
was a good one. A lot of goals.
First of all, I want to say I was so happy to see CUTRONE and HIGUAÍN starting together. I loved, and I'm surprised that it took so long to finally see these guys starting together, because I think that they're perfect for each other. And we saw Milan's had a problem in scoring goals for a long time now. They scored 2 goals, both of them on the score sheet, and I think that they complement each other extremely well. And I like seeing them play together.
how many times
That's
I've been
number
saying
one.
this? How many times I've been saying
You
this?
have
From
said
the
that.
very
I agree
beginning.
with you. I agree.
From the very beginning.
How come me and you could say this, but Gattuso didn't? But anyway, let me
You guys
finish.
think you
Under
know
the
more
pressure,
than
Gattuso is
Gattuso.
listening to me once in a while.
Let
So.
me finish the point. Last thing, I think that we do consistently see that Milan's defense and
Not
Milan's lack of concentration is the detriment to why they don't pick up as many points as they probably could be along the season.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the match?
The match was Milan just dominated the game. I mean, they had those 2 chances against them. Sampdoria did a great job on the midfield controlling the ball, especially with Saponara. Saponara grew up into the youth of AC Milan. I was very impressed the way he played until the last minute, until he got out. But Quagliarella is an excellent player. Look at it. He did exactly the same thing. He took 3 players away in one control, in one ball control, and then he placed the ball right on the foot of this guy. Boom. And he scored the goal. So, Sampdoria is not an easy team. It was coming from 4 positive, not wins, results. And, hey, they proved that they're not an easy team to beat. And I think they're going to be up there on the first 5 or 6 teams on the league.
They tied the game,
That was-
multiple
that was
times,
good,
and
yeah.
I was very impressed with how Sampdoria was able to continue to get back into the match. Where I thought that Milan was I thought that there was gonna be a moment that Milan was gonna kill the game off, but it didn't. Milan weren't killing the game off, and Sampdoria had the strength to be able to come back into the match.
They-
Gaetano, this is a
scored.
question.
No,
No,
a question-
a question come with the technical expert over here. Did you see AC Milan coming back a little bit after they tied the game, just stepping back and making Sampdoria coming up, and then all of a sudden just move quickly through the fascia laterali? That's what happened. They were afraid. It's either they were afraid or they pulled back a little bit, and then they attacked them as soon as they lost the ball. That's what they
So they
did.
played counter-attack.
They played 4-4-2.
I think that finally Gattuso, everybody was telling him and that to put CUTRONE in there, and the kid is really he's got so much energy, and he's so motivated, and he wants to be there, and he is running all over the place. So I'm glad that finally to see HIGUAÍN and CUTRONE together. I don't know if he's going to keep doing that. But I'm hoping that he does. And Gattuso, I think he can breathe a little bit, because I think he was feeling the pressure after the derby that he lost, and after losing against Betis. That he felt like he was going to get
Sacked.
But I'm glad that he's there. We don't know where Conte. I think it would have been happier if Conte was announced today that he was going to another team, because that's what they've been saying.
Not yet.
That Conte is, he's waiting for
Lopetegui to pack up
for
his.
AC Milan.
He's gone. They
He's
sacked him
gone.
today.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
So he's
he's
gone.
gone.
Conte is 100%.
They're saying
But-
a few other names, but
We'll see.
I think that if they wanted Conte, they would have said something today.
I don't think that Conte would go. Wait, you're talking to Milan or to Madrid?
No,
To
Madrid.
Madrid.
Oh. Anyway, about Milan, what you're saying about CUTRONE, Gattuso said before the match, he said, I want every one of my players to have the same spirit as CUTRONE has.
Yeah.
Desire,
Which
hunger.
I think it says a lot about, and that's what we always said about CUTRONE, and I know we've argued if he should start, if he should not start, but the problem at hand to me is Milan. They are the only Serie A team to have 0 clean sheets this season.
They
Out of
concede.
20 teams,
They concede
do you
every
think that
single
Milan,
game.
How can Milan be the only team to not have a clean sheet?
that's
This is a
insane.
very big problem.
With a team like
And-
Chievo Verona that has -1 points in the league.
Considering that Caldara now is out for a few months. Gattuso said that Caldara's hurt
Yeah.
again, and he's gonna be out for another 2 months. I don't remember
2
exactly
months, 2 months.
the time.
What a bust. We should have never got in charge with
Oh, your position
I
changed.
cannot believe this stuff.
You said he was the
Any
best.
guy that we
This
get
is
from
not-
Juventus, it's always a bust.
Antonio,
This is not
a
for
couple
now,
weeks ago, you
for-
said he's the best Italian.
Who?
Caldara.
Caldara.
You wanted him to see
this
every
guy
game.
here-
Every game you said, I
But
want to see
it will never
Caldara.
it will never happen. That's why Juventus, they told him, I said, hey, go over there and just get yourself, sit yourself on the couch and watch the game from the couch.
If you didn't get,
Give me a break.
If you didn't get Higuain from Juventus,
Yeah, what
where
about
would you?
Higuain?
Where would you be?
Who needs him? You
You'll be
got
lower than
Cutrone.
Chievo Verona right now.
Listen, I saw Gattuso too, a little nervous after the game, which I never seen it before. I think he was getting on the head of the quarto uomo, right, Peter? Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Why? Because of the extra few seconds that the guy they didn't call the game?
Yeah, but
He apologized.
Gattuso's a hothead. He's always been like that. He's always been an aggressive.
Yeah, but you know,
He's
there is.
mad at every
an
other coach
aggressive
for getting
coach.
mad at people, but now Gattuso does it.
Gattuso is a buddy, so
Nah,
it's
It's different.
it's different.
I think this game also because they went down 2-1, so
Yeah.
it's important that they were able to
Yeah.
Come back.
to come back because mentally, if the team would have lost this game, it would have been really hard
Yeah.
for Gattuso and also the rest of the team. Suso, we've been saying, is an on and off
Yep.
player, but when he's on, he can really make the difference, as we saw today, seen yesterday. And you know, it's great to see Cutrone and Higuaín playing together because Higuaín has that extra element to his game where he can come back from behind and move the play up. Meanwhile, Cutrone could be playing on the last defender,
Yeah.
type of like Inzaghi,
I
and
like it.
he's a pit bull in the sense like he runs after every ball, he tries to get every scrappy goal that he can, and you know sometimes that's what you need. Suso making the crosses, Cutrone is able to score
Yep.
the header. You know, it looked like Milan was going to be able to have full possession of the game. Sampdoria is one of those tricky teams where you have players like Quagliarella, who's got so much experience, able to put beautiful ball through, take shots, stuff like that.
Saponara.
yeah.
Yeah, Saponara did.
Saponara
He had a
was
goal
nice
and
passes.
assist.
He played
Really
well.
nice.
Goal and
He played
assist
really
that
well.
game.
Just unfortunate to see that Milan cannot control a game for 90 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
They
Yeah.
always have this blackout where they're confused,
They get
or
lost.
lack of
They get lost.
concentration. And I don't know if it's because they're missing a real leader in that on the field. Not necessarily saying Gattuso's not a leader off the field, but someone in that midfield that's able to take control of the team and make sure that they stay concentrated throughout the
interesting.
game.
That's
That's
I
what
think there is another
think is
factor
missing.
on it, Peter. The factor could be that some of those excellent players, quote unquote, they're feeling a little bit the heat and they think that, hey, listen, the fact that we're not winning, it's they're feeling that the extra weight on their shoulder. I said it's either we better win the game or we're starting to show something. Otherwise, they're going to sack the coach and then we're going to get into a lot more trouble.
I think
than
all
they
big
already are.
players feel that, and
Yeah.
we saw Higuaín. You know, Higuaín's known for getting frustrated.
Who's the leader of AC Milan?
Besides Gattuso,
Well, I would say I would put.
hard to
Let me
say.
see.
It's hard to say.
Suso, I would say
That's the
Suso.
problem.
I would
But-
say Suso is
But
the
the
one
fact
that.
that a Milan
I
fan
know.
cannot say who's the
I know.
leader of the
Suso
team
is
is the
not.
problem.
He's
Yeah.
not the
I
leader.
would say Suso.
One
listen,
thing about Suso, though, he is the second most involved player in the Serie A. Right after Ronaldo, no other player has been involved directly in
More
goals.
Yeah.
If you actually
Suso
see the
this
play,
season.
AC Milan, the way he plays, most of the balls they go through Suso. Even though Suso is a winger, but a lot of the balls, they instead of just going down through the left side, they keep coming back from to the right. Have you
agree.
seen double R? How many crosses? How many
Double
times
R.
he switched the ball?
Ricardo Rodriguez.
Oh, that's what they call him. in
Yeah,
AC
yeah,
Milan,
yeah,
double
yeah.
R. So he crosses the ball from one. He crosses. He switched the play from the far left all the way to the far right.
So now
where
you're a
the-
fan of him? You used to hate him.
Well, no, they
I still
probably
don't like
told him.
him.
I said, listen, don't keep pushing down to the left. You want Suso to get
Yeah.
the ball and make something happen from the right hand side, and that's why most of the goals they came.
Is
The
there,
cross.
is there a concern of injuries at Milan?
Well, hopefully we're gonna get Conte back
Yeah.
for the
Ah,
next.
that'd be great.
He
You-
started
he had-
practicing.
It's been
again.
another year.
Yeah.
1 year. This kid here is never played on AC Milan except for one or two pre-campionato games. So we're just hoping that we get some results out of this kid. We spent so much money.
Well, he had a fantastic season at Atalanta.
Yeah.
Then he played a
but
couple
we never
games
got to
with
see
Milan.
what he's capable to do in AC Milan. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
I think
And
the couple
to-
games that
yeah,
he played.
he did play a couple
he
games.
He was
No,
actually
he played
impressive.
well. He
was
played very
impressive.
well.
To finish up with Cutrone,
Yeah.
Cutrone is supposed to be a starter on the Italian national team. Okay,
I could see the
In the
argument
future,
for that.
yeah.
that should be
Right
a
now?
starter.
No, I would
If
do
he-
it.
If he stays as a starter within the starting lineup for Milan,
Yeah.
he definitely should have a case to be.
I agree with Peter.
on a national
I agree with Peter, and I do want to see Cutrone being able to start. I understand that he's young, but like Gattuso said, that you need these guys that are hungry and have the desire, and I think that they're important.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll keep the 4-3-3. For
Mancini?
No.
No,
Gattuso.
Gattuso.
Gattuso, no, it's not-
Gattuso
it's never
for when he plays in the Europe League. I mean,
But I
it
mean,
becomes
go-
a little bit of that team. Betis was
They were
yeah,
good.
my God,
Betis is a good
Man,
team.
technically, what a team! The way they were moving the ball, very fast.
Milan could have
I was-
equalized that easily, though. They had so
I
many
was-
chances. They had a penalty that they could have got
Yeah,
at the
but
end,
when you
too.
get to there, I don't know. Are you gonna, if
No,
you
they're
if
gonna
you're
change
playing,
it up. Yeah.
Right.
No, I think they're gonna keep going with a 4-3-3. I like that formation. It looked good, but Milan don't have that much depth. They don't have that wild card that comes off the bench. I love Cutrone since he comes off the bench last 20-25 minutes, and this guy gives 100%. If he plays the whole game, you kind of lose it towards the end. But if you bring him in as a super sub, I think that's when he's most effective. Even though he played good.
Cutrone's a scary player
the
to
other
play
day.
against. I think that
That's what
just
I'm saying.
when you play against Cutrone, you just don't know if he's always going to be in that right place at the right time. And I think that that's an important factor. He's a tricky guy that you got to keep your eye on, and he's able to score a lot of goals. So I think that Cutrone, for me, he should be starting a little bit more. So
He draws a lot of attention, and sometimes he draws the double. He throws two defenders on him, and then what happened? He frees up the other guy, which can make a big difference. Whether it's going to be Higuaín, or whether it's going to be Çalhanoğlu, whether it's going to be Suso, Cutrone always draws a lot of attention. And like you said, Marco, the guy can sneak behind anything and anybody. It's just the wild card, and I think it's going to be what Mancini needs for the Italian
think-
national team.
I think that Milan's
Okay.
problem is not the attack. I think that
It's the
they
defense.
solved the attack problem, but
Yeah.
the defense is something that really needs to be worked on by Gattuso and worked on by the rest of the team. Anyway, let's go to Napoli-Roma.
That was crazy.
Roma, going into this one, what we've been saying, the thing that I've been saying is Roma is the most consistently inconsistent team, I'll say, across Europe, because you just don't know what to expect against them. In Champions League, they'll come out and beat a team that was able to beat Real Madrid, and then the next week they'll be able to lose to Spal or lose to Bologna. So I didn't have the biggest hopes for Roma into this match, even though the past 4 times that they've played in Napoli, they've always come away with a positive result, which it was on their side. But this match, I don't really know where to start. I mean, Roma got the lead. El Shaarawy.
He almost
he
missed
he
it.
tried his best to miss that one, but the ball snuck into the back.
That barely
of the net.
went in. But,
And then I think it was at a certain point, Di Francesco said, "Oh guys, come back! Everybody come back!
He
Let's
really-
keep defending."
he
And
really
Napoli
forgot all
was
the
sending everything
tactics.
forward, and it was
Yeah.
one of those games where Napoli was struggling to score. That was my perspective, at least on the match. And then your boy Manolas, I'll give credit to Manolas. He had an incredible match. Him and Olsen, I think, were.
De Rossi also was
were-
great.
He went out injured,
Yeah.
and so did Manolas.
So did Manolas, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it was a weird game.
It
Peter,
was.
What'd you think?
Like I said, Roma got the early lead. They tried to defend the lead. They had it up until the 89th minute.
Yeah.
Napoli, they pretty much threw everything that they could against Olsen. Also made some great saves. Roma looked like eventually they were gonna let a goal in, and it actually happens. It was a brilliant play. Switch. Insigne did a 1-2. Was able to, with his left foot, cross it in. Callejon shanks it. Mertens in the right place at the right time, and I think it's it's a deserved tie for Napoli.
At
And
least.
also,
at least.
unfortunately, the tie doesn't really help anyone because Roma's still stuck where they are, and Napoli lose points against Juventus in the sense that now they're 6 points ahead, and they also, with Inter winning today, lost the second place, even though it's still much too early.
They're tied.
I was-
Inter Napoli.
I know a
Yeah,
lot
but
of-
I think goal differential might be.
Yeah, I
Inter
think
on top.
Inter's. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They are on top.
Wow,
to sneak that one
you're rubbing it in, man. You're rubbing it in.
It's been a while. That was
Wow.
second place. Is,
Oh
But
boy.
I know a lot of Roma
Wanda
fans.
must be happy.
A lot of Roma fans are very disappointed, and I get losing in the 80s, and not losing, but losing a win in the 87th minute
It hurts.
sucks.
It hurts.
But at the end of the day, I think for Roma, this is a very positive result because getting a tie away in Napoli, and I know that, in the previous years they have always gotten a win, but either way, this season, to take a tie against Napoli, who Napoli is a very strong team.
Oh, yeah.
I was surprised, and I know a lot of people the opposite was like, oh, we should have won that match. When I was thinking, oh, you're very lucky that you didn't lose this match. It could have easily been slipped away.
It was bittersweet for both teams.
I got a
at the end of
question
the day.
for him again, for Gaetano, because
Oh boy.
how did you read this game here? You have Di Francesco's losing the game on the last 4 or 5 minutes. You think that the formation, the 4-3-2-1, 4-4-2, or 4-4-1-1-1, whatever, it makes a big difference
That was
in
not
this game?
formation. That
wasn't
was
the
11
formation.
0-0.
It was more or less leaving
it
the
was
field.
1-10,
I didn't see the whole game. I only saw the highlights, and I mean Napoli had so many chances, to put this away. Right in front of the goal, there was ones where
Ruiz.
he dribbled and dribbled and dribbled, and he dribbled like 3 guys, 4 guys
And he leaves it.
in front of the net, and he passes the ball. He didn't have. I guess he didn't have
The confidence.
the guts to just shoot. No, so I really did not watch how they the tactical, but I thought that Napoli had a lot of chances, and I think that Carletto is doing a very good job. He was not afraid to go to Paris and and play.
Play for the win.
I wish I would have won of that game.
Play for the win. It was very close. I mean, it was 2.5 minutes, and I'm watching 2.5 minutes. And he's 2.5 minutes to go, and he's pressing the goalkeeper. And I'm saying, what the hell are you pressing the goalkeeper? Get back. And then Neymar got that ball in midfield. They went all the way up. I wish that, I think it was Alan at midfield. That's it. Just get in front of him and stop. It's 2 minutes and 2.5 minutes to go. But anyway, so I really enjoyed the courage of Carletto to go there and go for a win. Too bad. So the Napoli is doing very, very, very good.
It's another similar thing to kind of like Roma, but if we said that in Paris to get a point it's still a very good result. I know that it's bitter because of the way that Napoli played and the way that Napoli could have gotten a result. And, it was the 80-something minute, and we thought that maybe Napoli was going to pull off the win, and then they ended up tying. But again, I think that, PSG, for all the money that they spent, for everything that they've been investing, for all this and this and this and this, and I think that for Napoli it was a great game, and another one of those, like, oh, listen, we're Napoli. We're not scared of you. And it's kind of like a signal, like PSG, Liverpool, doesn't matter who you are, we're in the group of death, but we're going to continue fighting whether we're home or whether we're away. So for me, it's still a positive result, a tie against PSG.
But one thing
I know we moved away from it, but
Peter, I want to ask you something. We are so famous for inventing the catenaccio, and we have those big teams like AC Milan losing against Inter the last minute, the last 30 seconds. Roma getting tied with Napoli the last couple minutes. I mean, we're losing games on the last 4 or 5 minutes. I mean, being the teams that created the catenaccio, the culture of the catenaccio, I don't understand why the coaches that we have right now do not implement this. I don't know if we're going to go from the catenaccio to the cassaforte, or we're going to do something else. But there is this lack of the Italian teams right now that just getting scored against on the last few minutes. Something it's not really...
listen, it depends on the caliber of players. Sometimes it happens. Di Maria had a great strike. The idea of Icardi scoring in the 92nd minute was because there was a loss of concentration. Not so much that the tactics weren't to defend. It was not necessarily a fluke, but it happened all of a sudden where Milan wasn't prepared or didn't expect anything. Napoli, unfortunately, the high press and the way that the play developed. Di Maria had a great shot, scored the goal.
They had many chances too.
Sour. Yeah,
we can't lie to ourselves.
No, but
PSG had so many chances.
PSG at the beginning of the game they were lights out.
We were getting
Napoli
lucky.
then eventually got into the game. But going back to the Napoli-Roma game, Napoli. One thing that I was really impressed about this Napoli game is that their fluidity of the game and being able to adapt. And I think Ancelotti really has been able to implement that. And they take more shots from outside. Whereas Sarri, sometimes they tried every little thing to just get in front of the goal.
Walk inside of the goal.
Now you have different ways to win. And I think Ancelotti was excited with this challenge because Napoli, a lot of people say, oh, but it's not the teams that are used to, coaching, where you have PSG, Real Madrid, you can pick which player you wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? Napoli's been able to keep the same players for maybe 3 or 4 years.
Koulibaly is a prime example.
Yeah, Koulibaly,
Everybody wants
Mertens,
him.
Insigne, Alan, these guys all play in the system, and he's been able to not necessarily reinvent anything, but make better.
And they also, I think that the players of Napoli, they have a certain attachment to the jersey that you
Yeah.
don't see from any other team.
Well,
like that, they have like that kind of small club vibe, but they're also now like a big club. So for even Koulibaly, he said, listen, he goes, I introduced myself as Napolitano. He goes, people will laugh at me because, I've only been here for a few years. He goes, but when the people love you and when you love the people, that's how I feel.
You feel like one of them.
So, they had offers for, I think they said 75, 80 million for Koulibaly from the biggest teams in Europe. He said, no, I'm happy here. I play good football. I'm with Ancelotti now and everything. So I think that there's a certain thing that comes with Napoli besides just the money and besides just playing in a big team that Napoli does bring to.
He said he fell in love with the city. I also want to bring up another point with.
You agree?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want to say something?
No, I said I agree. He likes the food too. Come on, I can like Napoli.
I mean, it's good, Southern food. I just want to add on the difference between Sarri and Ancelotti. There's a stat this season with Napoli that they have the most changed starting lineups out of all the Serie A teams this season.
Completely different.
Completely different.
Completely polar opposite with Sarri that played almost the same exact thing, whether it was Empoli or whether it was Barcelona in the Champions League.
You know what's hilarious? When we were at this event with Jimmy Conrad this weekend, a lot of people, we met a lot of people. This guy came up to us. He goes, oh, I'm a Chelsea fan. He goes, so I was watching your channel to hear about Sarri. He goes, let me ask you a question. Does Sarri not like to play his full team? He goes, or is it just something that the vibe I'm getting right now? Yeah. And we say, listen, it was a criticism that Sarri's gone. He goes, because I feel like he only has like 12 players that he plays with.
And he was saying Chelsea has the best youth in all of Europe, and it's like he doesn't use any of them for some reason.
So
it's like, get used to that.
He's getting results right now, so it's hard to criticize.
You can't complain, exactly.
But I do agree with Peter, and I agree with you, and I agree with everybody that they do have a versatility to the team that makes them more dangerous than previously. Not taking anything away from anyone. He also said he wants to bring the Scudetto back to the south too, Ancelotti.
Right.
I hope he's right.
Maybe with
anybody but Juventus. I'm sorry. What did I say?
Wait, if Bari and Milan played against each other for the Scudetto, who would you want to win? I was thinking about this today.
Oh boy.
Bari.
Okay. I figured. I'm going to show this to Gattuso.
It's all right. Gattuso on his heart is Barese too, even though he's Calabrese. He's from the deep south.
All right. Let's go make Peter happy again.
Wow.
Another very surprising, possibly the most surprising result of the weekend for me.
Yo, Peter.
What? I
agree.
never expected.
I don't think it was surprising.
I thought that
they're on a 6-game winning streak. How is it surprising?
They were 5-game winning streak,
5 game,
and now it's 6.
my bad.
But I was thinking, listen, the last time that Lazio and Inter met in Rome, it was the final match day. It was the day that Vecino stole the Champions League right out of their hands. And I said, these guys are going to come out.
And the Fry going to Inter.
I said, these guys are going to come out with a vengeance that they're not going to give Inter a centimeter of space. But boy, was I wrong, because the final result maybe doesn't do justice, but I was disappointed in Lazio, and I think that Inter made it look a lot more simple than it probably was. Icardi, 2 goals, his 6th of the Serie A season, and Inter right now have the best defense in the Serie A.
That's right.
I think they only conceded 6 goals. It's like a goal every 240 minutes, and that says a lot.
Mm-hmm. I think, how many times did I tell you, Peter, you're going to get the triplete this year? As much as I hate to say it, as much as I hate to be wrong, but they have the team.
They have the team?
They cover, every position is covering perfectly.
Peter.
The only one that I don't like is that coach, but it is what it is. They're going to keep him. He's not scoring the goals, but they're getting the job done.
Like you said, it was a surprising scoreline. I think the first half, it could have been a lot closer. Inter were able to play. They were the better side, but Lazio had their chances. Immobile had a couple of chances. Caicedo had a chance. I've been really impressed with Inter's midfield. Brozovic this year has been able to be that player that we needed, even though beginning of the season while Inter wasn't on page, it was because the midfield wasn't able to create. And interesting enough, a surprise in the formation, João Mario started.
I was annoyed about that.
Everyone was surprised on that one.
For his comments.
Yes,
his
his comments about Inter and stuff like that.
And the Serie A.
But I think he's a player that he
quality.
can definitely change the game, and it's something that we need because Borja Valero unfortunately cannot play more than 45 minutes. He doesn't have the speed and pace to play in that position. Where João Mario has the creativity, if only he gains confidence. His issue, I think, is the confidence. He makes the right pass. He's able to see the game, but when he gets in front of the goal, he completely fades away. But going off
Vecino
Brozovic,
too.
Vecino,
I thought it's been huge.
Vecino is a top player as far as covering spaces up and down. They run the most kilometers.
People were so annoyed when they signed Vecino. I remember last year. Everybody was so annoyed. But I think this year he developed a lot more than last year, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that was critical too.
And then with the De Vrij acquisition, we have now 3 center backs that could play for any national team.
Literally.
And besides Serie A team. So with Miranda being your 3rd center back, you're covered pretty much. If anybody gets injured or someone's not at top form, you can place him in and you're not going to miss anything. And that goes off based on saying that Inter has one of the better or the best defense.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I think it's the best.
It is the
It's
best.
the best,
It is.
right? Yeah.
You know, Politano.
And one of the best attacks too, I think.
Yeah.
I think
So-
second best
Second,
attack
yeah,
or third
second.
best attack too.
After who?
After they're more than Napoli, I think after Juve and after I don't remember who else.
They're tied with
I think more than Napoli though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think Inter right now they're playing. They're hot. They're playing. It was
Exactly.
important to bounce back from a Barcelona loss,
Yeah.
where they didn't play so well. And Icardi scores. He looks like he has a magnet attached to his foot.
What's
He
the
gets-
magnet, Antonio?
He gets
It's
the
one
goal.
down.
Maybe. And I think just the only player that I'm not happy with right now
Perisic.
is Perisic.
I knew it.
The whole year he hasn't been able to do anything, so I'm just waiting that he can get hot, and then I could really imagine what this Inter team can be. Because Perisic for me is the best player Inter has, better than Icardi. That's what I think.
Are you waiting for him to get hot? Put him on the oven for a couple minutes. Maybe it's gonna get hot. Peter.
Yeah, I agree with you on that Perisic.
I don't know. I think that guy's a bust.
Oh,
I don't know.
He's good.
But they're still gonna win the
You know,
three.
it's very. I have to be honest with you. It's very predictable. It just comes down from the left hand side over there. It's trying to dribble, coming in here and
I
there.
don't think so.
He's got
I
one
think
from
when he's
Sousa, right?
when he's on, he's a tricky. He doesn't. You don't know which direction he goes because he does that one move where he does a step over and takes it to the byline and crosses with his left, or he can cut in, take a shot with his right. He's a player that.
Those are the only 2 plays that he's capable of doing. That's it.
What are you talking about?
But that's what I'm saying to you.
He puts it in the box or he can score. One more. He has only 2 legs. What
It's
is
very.
What is he
Listen.
gonna use?
I want to see
Listen.
bicycle
Go through
kicks.
him.
I want to see
Sousa
bicycle
only has
kicks.
1 foot.
I don't
He
think
does the
so.
same thing. Sousa
Oh,
goes,
boy.
cuts in and takes a
I
shot.
don't
Cuts in,
think
takes a
so.
shot.
With Sousa, you never know whether the guy's gonna jump you, whether he's gonna pass the ball, whether
Guys,
he's gonna
well,
do one
what's the
thing.
argument? Robin used to do the same thing over and over again, and you still can't stop him. So if you can't stop a player, what does it matter if he only has
Alright,
one move?
alright.
What
Sousa
do
has
you think
better
about
stats.
Inter?
though.
No, I think the Inter. Oh, I would have loved to have seen those 3 guys in the center, plus Cancelo and Asamoah on one
I
on
would
the
not
right
have liked to see
and
that.
one on the
man.
left.
I know.
Wow.
Versalico,
Yes.
come on, they got Versalico. He's playing now.
Yeah.
Come on, it's not that
Anyway,
bad.
no. What I wanted to tell.
Ambrosio.
What I wanted to tell them, those 2 guys right in front of the defense, I think they made a big difference. They stabilized
The Skriniar and what's his
No,
name?
He means
no, no.
Vecino.
Oh, Brozovic and,
Raza and
Brozovic.
Vecino right in front
Yeah.
of those 2 guys in front of the defense. They really doing a great job.
2 guys I didn't believe
Yeah.
in too so much. I was always critical, but
Yeah.
I thought today, I mean, the whole season, I think that they've been very good.
Yeah.
From Lazio's perspective, because we've already seen Inter's perspective, Lazio's perspective, they've played against Inter, Napoli, Roma, and another big
Juventus.
team, and Juventus, and they've gotten 0 points. They've conceded 10 goals, and they've only scored 2 goals. And this is a team where last year we were talking about Lazio, and we said Lazio, and Simone Inzaghi's Lazio, to be more specific, is a team that against the bigger teams, he was able to beat Juventus. He was always able to sneak past, and they were never scared. But this team, this time we don't see them, and there hasn't been that big of a difference in the teams. They kept Milinkovic-Savic, they kept Immobile, who were their 2 biggest players. They kept Luis Alberto, who it seems like they didn't even keep because he hasn't been playing. He hasn't been, showing up.
Regardless of those losses, all those big teams, they're still in the Champions League spot. They're still in 4th place. They're a spot ahead of AC Milan. So say what you want, but he does get the maximum points against a mid-table to the lower teams where you should be.
Hey
picking
Mike,
up the
don't forget
points.
we have a game to make up against Genova, AC Milan.
No, I think
Yes.
they.
No, they
No,
did
it's still-
Wednesday
they still
coming
have
up.
to play.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but at the end of the day, for Lazio. I think that this is a performance that you never want to see your team see your team make, especially since last year it was the reverse. You were able to always fight against these teams. So what do you think about that?
I'm telling you what's the problem with Lazio. A lot of people, they're starting to read the movement of Immobile. They see what this guy here does with the ball and the way he positions himself
You think
on the
it's just
field.
Immobile?
Immobile is not been scoring, not because of lack of trying. I think it's the defenders. They prepare themselves a lot better when they have to face this guy here, and they leave him a lot less room and space to maneuver.
I doubt that that's the only
I'm telling
problem
you,
for Lazio.
and the Felipe Anderson, he went. What's his name? The guy that went.
Yeah, he went to West Ham.
Oh,
West
okay.
Ham.
I thought you were talking.
The
Okay.
Felipe Anderson
Yeah.
was a big different maker for Lazio.
He wasn't
Okay?
even a starter.
Even though he didn't play
but-
that much,
but he-
but when he played, it was a different maker.
Ah.
I'm telling you, I
Yeah.
always liked that player. Let me tell you something.
Keita
You're gonna
Baldo
see
was
at the end of the year.
It was a great talent, but he was lazy.
Yeah, I think it was lazy too.
I think Lazio's real problem is that Milinkovic-Savic isn't having the season that he had last year, and also Luis Alberto.
That's a
These
big
are guys
thing
that
people
both
don't
score more than 10 goals each, and they haven't scored.
And Immobile hasn't been keeping up with form too.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're still in fourth place.
No, but the point is,
which
the
is
other,
pretty
the other
crazy.
teams,
I thought there was a lot
Inter's
lower.
made acquisitions. Milan made some acquisitions. Juventus with Ronaldo, Napoli with Ancelotti. So Lazio has a hard, hard games to play against, and they unfortunately lost. But there's still so much to be happy about because they're still there.
Listen, the defense that we have right now this year on the Serie A, they didn't get any tougher than what we had last year. Immobile, how many goals did he score last year? It was the capocannoniere,
Yeah,
right?
he was
How many-
tied.
right. So you watch, this year he's not going to score not even half of the goal that he scored
Yeah, but
last year.
Milankovic he hasn't played the way he performed last year. He has to also.
That's true.
He
And
has
Luis
to-
Alberto too. That helps him a
Yeah,
lot.
they have those two guys. They have to, they have to step it up.
Let's get some questions in. First one I see. Do you guys think Roma? What's happening with Di Francesco? If he loses a few more games, do you think that he will get sacked, or did this game against Napoli help save him?
Not in. If he keeps winning in Champions League, I think his job is pretty much saved. Even though he's doing very bad in the league.
What do you think?
They're. Wait 1 second. They are 8th place right now in the league.
What do you
in the
think,
Serie
Peter?
A.
I mean, in Italy, the coaches always are on the hot seat because it's not like other leagues where you can lose and you still have your job. Rome already, there's been some rumors that he's not liked by the ownership or by the director, that they were looking for a replacement. But at the end of the day, the tie versus Napoli is a good result away. They look like they're coming around. I like Di Francesco as well. I just hope that he's able to keep a more consistent play.
I agree with Peter.
What do you think?
Yes, it's very very strange with Roma. They always they up and down. But if they do well in the Champions League, it's not going to go anywhere.
I see a question that's repeated a lot of times now. Is Milinkovic-Savic overrated? What's happening with this season? Savic obviously was. I mean, Lotito says that he rejected, I don't know, what do you say, 80 million, 90 million for him. He wants 150 million. And this season, while we haven't mainly seen the best of Lazio, we haven't seen Savic at all this season. So what do you guys think about that whole situation?
He has to step up to his price tag.
Do you think he's overrated?
I mean,
Or one season
it's too,
wonder,
it's too
or-
soon. It's too
No,
soon to
I don't think
judge.
it's overrated. I think it's just the system that Lazio has been playing and the way the teams they adjusted to those 2-3 players. Insigne, Milinkovic is making them rethinking about their way of playing into the specific sector of the 3/4 field and on the penalty box. As I said before, this Immobile is not going to be scoring the goal that he scored last year, and this Savic is getting a lot less space to maneuver into that 3/4.
What do you think?
Well, he needs to step up his game if he wants to be in the 80 million market range. He needs to do much better.
It's not even that. They're thinking double.
We had Bellotti, and that what do you want? 100 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, and now hopefully they get 5 million.
Now, if they pay a team to take him, they're not gonna keep him.
You cannot do it. That's why when we said Piontek, you cannot do it for 1 year.
Yeah.
You need to have that consistency that you will come back and do it. When it happens just one season, you got to be careful.
It's fishy. Yeah.
But he's also young, so I mean, he still has more to prove.
I like him. I think he's a
good
great player.
Yeah.
But
He just maybe it could also be that the whole price tag
Yeah.
Got to his
and
head.
the fact that he was linked with Juventus,
Yeah,
it
exactly.
could have messed with him a little bit.
Right.
And need some time
Exactly.
to just relax and refresh.
Yeah, it could be that. What were you
No,
gonna
he
say?
needs to press a reset button because something is getting to his head, and they probably some of them, if they don't score, if they don't produce what they've been asked to produce, or
Then
what
the next game it gets harder
or
and
to
harder.
showcase themselves the way
Yeah.
they've been,
Yeah.
everybody's been used to see them, and then
Yeah.
it gets harder and harder
Yeah,
every
exactly.
time, whether you play a big team or whether you
Exactly.
play a mediocre team. So it gets to their heads, and they feel the pressure, even though,
Yeah.
So
The rest of the questions we answered throughout the podcast. So I ended there. I know we haven't done the score predictions in a while.
yeah, I don't know if we'll have time.
Yeah,
by the
but
way,
no.
the Champions
Yeah,
League, who guessed most of the
But-
games?
I don't even
But,
think we
It
did.
was probably me.
I
yeah?
have 3 quick things
Yeah,
Go ahead.
before we finish.
Mm.
One, another surprise score was Spal Frosinone.
Mm.
Okay, Frosinone that they beat Spal
3-0.
3-0.
Their first win.
And
of the
Spal, Spal beat
Roma 2-0.
Roma. So I thought that
Unbelievable.
was a very, very surprise score. Then I got another thing, and this is for you, which
Hope it's nice.
which you said that Ronaldo would not score 1 goal in Serie A.
Oh boy,
Not
I forgot
only-
about
You
that.
said
one.
not
really
one.
say that?
Not only he has 7 goals, I said that he would score more than 20. You said he would not score any goals. By the way, he's got 7 goals, just for the record. And the last, the last thing,
Yeah, with penalties too. Just to put on.
One penalty.
Don't worry, another 20 penalties are coming. Don't worry.
and the last thing, and this is maybe for you. What did you think of Messi's son? That he had,
you saw that, huh?
the Juventus logo. What was that
It
all
just
about?
looked like scribbles. to me.
Greatness follows greatness, and the son is growing up in a smart area. He wants to become a winner.
Peter's
so
like nodding
he's
his head.
trying
He's
to-
like, what's he
he's trying to
talking
learn from a winner.
You,
so,
you think
hey,
he's pushing his dad to maybe
Yeah.
change team?
all I would say
No.
is that Ronaldo, Dybala, Messi wouldn't be.
I think he just showed 2
What are you guys,
eyes.
the
that look so
Warriors?
silly.
Yeah,
joke,
they
man.
want to win
Golden
another
State.
campionato. Hey, they want to keep winning the campionato, so
Oh,
they
of
need
course we wanna
Messi.
win.
They need Messi.
Listen, no, obviously it's a joke. Obviously it's
I
a
don't know,
joke,
do-
but I think, come on, I think his son has said that he's been a Ronaldo fan, so like in the documentary, right? But so it's not that surprising. I think that you see that all the time. Remember freaking Bonucci's son with Belotti and that.
Marcus
But listen,
Shaq.
hey, you guys got Belotti, we got Messi, so it's nice.
Why don't we do the top 3-4 games for next week?
next
or
week.
I wanna
whatever?
say-
I want to say one more
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I like the most about the Classico?
Yeah.
Is when Suarez scored a goal and he went to shake the hands of the Messi's kid over there on. He went all the way to his kids to say to congratulate them. I mean,
Did they?
yeah.
I didn't say.
I see him.
I didn't say.
It was on the TV. I saw him. I saw him that he went live. all
Hey,
the way
I
to,
think the thing that that somebody liked about Suarez was Conte. Every goal that Barcelona was scoring, Conte like this. he
Oh
was
yeah.
celebrating.
Oh boy, that's me. Score against
Before
me.
we get into that, I just want to say a thought for we all know what happened this week. As great as the leagues might have been, craziness.
Oh, the crash of the.
Especially in England.
Oh, that's bad.
It started off Brighton. In the Brighton match, a Brighton fan passed away inside the stadium. And then one of the BT Sport, I don't remember his name, but he was a Chelsea legend. He also had a heart attack, and he's in serious condition. And then to top that off, Leicester City's owner and the pilots and everyone else on board fatally died, which is
In
just
a helicopter crash.
crazy. We get mad about football all the time. This guy's a billionaire. It doesn't matter, how much you're worth or anything.
Anything can happen in a minute.
I think that it's just a good moment to remember what he did for the city. And, I didn't know anything about this guy. I didn't even know who Leicester City's owner really was. But I think that the test of what you do in this world is the response when you do go out.
Yeah.
And I think that the response has been unreal from the Leicester City. Like Schmeichel, the goalkeeper, if you read what he said about him, he said, "You made us believe again." And they said that many times over the career, he always took the money second and he put the people first. And he achieved the greatest, if not the greatest sporting events ever that we've ever witnessed in Leicester City. So rest in peace to him and to everybody involved. It sucks for Leicester City and for everyone involved, but
they'll grow on this. They could use this as motivation, but it was a huge tragedy.
Crazy tragedy for all involved, everybody involved. So take a second and think, anything could be taken from you in life, and it doesn't matter what you're worth or what you've done or anything. So
enjoy while you can. So live every day as your last day, and try to win as many games as you can.
Very good response.
Gaetano was writing the.
All right, so on Wednesday we have AC Milan against Genoa. Peter?
Tie, X.
Yeah.
Okay. Antonio?
2.
No,
meaning Milan winning.
No, AC Milan.
But we play in Genova.
1.
No, AC
That's
Milan.
AC Milan
sure?
against Genoa.
Yeah.
But this is the make-up game. We were supposed to play in Genova. Are you sure?
Genoa,
Double check.
You're right.
So that's what I said too.
Damn, I thought you were just outsmarted.
Come on, man.
No.
If he's right.
Sampdoria was
Is
going
this
to
the
play.
way-
No,
is it
That was the
done
first
first?
game that we didn't play because of the
No, you're right.
the
You're right, guys. Where
bridge.
you going?
Because of the bridge.
It's right here.
It was the prima di
Right here. No,
campionato.
he's
We were
right,
supposed
he's
to
right.
play in Genova.
It says AC
You already
Milan
made it
Genoa.
up.
Oh,
Then.
so we play.
It's AC Milan Genoa.
So we played in
Yeah.
San Siro.
Yeah.
Okay,
This is
then
the
I
way
was
I
wrong.
have it,
Then it's 1. Yeah, of course.
Okay, Marco?
Tie, X.
Yay.
AC Milan Genoa, AC Milan Genoa. Boy. Mike?
I say 1.
What did you say?
AC Milan Genoa, you say 1?
Yeah.
What do you say?
He's
I
cheating
say
now.
1.
Oh,
There we go.
Me and Peter are the opposites.
I don't understand those two.
Napoli, Empoli.
Oh,
Mike.
We're gonna see a bloodbath. 1.
Come on, Napoli, Empoli.
Napoli at home again, 1.
One.
Napoli.
One.
I guess I'm not so boring.
One.
Copying
What do
you mean?
all
You
the
said
time.
1.
Why you
1.
copy me all the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
Copy you.
Hey.
If Carnesis isn't, maybe we get an Eeks,
boy.
but if not, definitely 1.
Inter Genoa. Antonio.
Genoa.
How can that be?
Well,
Milan
it can't be
Genoa.
Milan
We're playing
Genoa.
Milan.
Playing the game from the first.
Wednesday.
Yeah, it's the next round. It's the next round.
Oh,
Milan is playing Wednesday.
And then,
This is the weekend.
okay,
Inter
let's see,
Genoa.
Inter Genoa. 2.
Oh boy.
You didn't even go for the Eeks.
Marco.
1.
Peter.
1. They'll be too tired
1.
after Milan
One,
plays so tough.
1 and 1.
Yes.
Okay.
What about you? What about you, Gaetano?
I put 1.
Oh, 1. Oh, I'm the only one,
Fiorentina
too.
Roma.
Oh,
Fiorentina
boy.
Fiorentina
That's
Roma.
a good one.
Marco.
I need an hour for this one.
Eeks.
Antonio.
2.
Peter.
2. Roma needs this.
2. Mike?
2.
Because it's
Di Francesco's
Manolas.
going through. Depends if he plays or
What do you
not.
say?
I'm gonna hold
X.
the contingent.
Yeah.
Tie. Juve Cagliari.
3.
Ooh.
Juve Cagliari, Mike.
Juve 1.
1.
How about you?
1.
1. Antonio.
X.
You said it so
He said it with a
diabolical.
smile.
And the last game, Udinese, AC Milan.
Me. Wasn't it? Milan.
Milan.
2.
2? Oh. 2.
Udinese,
Udinese
AC
couldn't take a
Milan.
shot
Two.
against freaking
So
Milan.
Marco 2,
Yeah.
Antonio
2.
2, Peter.
X. See,
Come on.
Mike.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with X on this one too. Tie.
Udinese couldn't take a shot on
Doesn't
target against
matter.
Napoli. They were in front of the goal.
Things change.
The guy missed the ball.
So what about you, Gaetano?
Udinese
What?
have a good
X.
squad.
X. Oh boy.
Jeez. I'm with you on that one.
Yes,
Anyway, guys,
Oh, boy. That was a good
hope you
one.
enjoy that. Watch out for tomorrow. We're going to have just a tactical session with my dad giving tactics on Juventus. It's not going to be in this video. Anyway, Antonio, do your little thing.
My little thing. What's my little thing? Guys, this is a big thing. It's not a little thing. It's Spotify, YouTube,
Keep going.
MySpace.
Instagram,
MySpace.
MySpace,
Snapchat.
Snapchat, email, Facebook, anything you want. Listen, we're number 1. We don't care about ESPN. We don't care about Fox. We don't care about
You
anybody.
make us do a lot of editing over
No
here.
way. We are number 1, and we're gonna be number 1, and we're gonna be shooting for the top again.
He's
Wow.
taking a picture.
Oh, he's taking a picture
Yeah,
too?
just
We
in
are
case.
number 1, okay? This is technical, this is fan, and this is all about you guys, not about us, okay? Have a nice weekend.
Anyway, guys, as always, thank you for watching. Rate the podcast if you enjoyed. Subscribe on YouTube. Comment your thoughts, and
5
we'll talk to you
stars.
soon. Ciao, ragazzi.
Ciao, guys.
5 stars.
5 stars.